Welcome to the Crash the Pond podcast. It is a Monday, June 13th edition of the show. And Jake, I think that we've got a pretty solid episode lined up today for the listeners. First off, haven't talked to you in a podcast, an official podcast in 2 weeks now, as you crack open a beer.
Yes, it was pre-Memorial Day. The last time you and I did a podcast of this ilk together. We've done 2 Patreon episodes since then, but yeah, it's been a while. People want to hear from us. We've had a couple people say happy to hear you guys again.
Yeah, we're back. We never left, and we've got a really interesting story here that's developed over the last week, really. I would say, like, that's when this all kind of started, and I think that we should just get right into it. Just so everyone knows, though, as we're going to be recording today, it's the fourth quarter of Game 5 of the NBA Finals. For those that don't know, I am a diehard Golden State Warriors fan, and I'm an emotional fan at that. And so as this game is going on, I'm going to try to keep it together. But if there's the occasional emotional outburst, you've been warned. That's all I can really say. I can't really say anything else. So the John Gibson story.
Oh, and I was also going to say, and apologies for the mess of boxes behind me. Currently getting some. Yeah, Felix also has blown out my eardrums before we started recording. So
yeah, Jordan Poole hit a buzzer beater.
Yeah. So
pretty awesome. And Steph Curry is on the bench right now. So that is not what I was expecting going into this one. But anyway, so a lot to talk about here. And really the main point of focus, and I think what we're going to dedicate the biggest chunk of the show to, is really this John Gibson story that kind of just popped up. Definitely not out of nowhere. Like, it's not a new thing.
Yeah, it's something that you and I have discussed.
Well, but the thing is, so at the trade deadline this year, we heard that John Gibson's name had been out there in trade rumors, and that the Ducks were floating his name out there. Like, this was a reported thing, and so it's not a new story that his name has been out there. But for the first time since this kind of saga has begun, it does feel like it has the most legs it's ever had.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of detail and color that's being added to it in a way that just wasn't there before. And I think that really the place to start, why don't you take us back here to last week, Frank Saravalli, and his reporting.
So really kind of where this all starts is on June 9th, which would have been last Thursday. Frank Saravalli put out his trade targets. And this was kind of the first bit of this. I don't think I've seen any other, whether it be The Athletic, whether it be TSN, anyone put out a trade bait board going into the offseason. So this is really the first start of the silly season when it comes to rumors, which, as everyone who listens to this podcast knows, I love. I consume everything about. It's so much fun. But kind of going back to that is Frank had John Gibson on his list at number 7. And, I mean, here's the scoop. It says, quietly, John Gibson's name has been circulated among GMs in the days leading up to the March 21st deadline, floated by new Ducks GM Pat Verbeek as a lifeline to any teams in need of a netminder. That contract may be prohibitive in term for a goaltender who has been below league average in save percentage for each of the last 3 seasons. Prior to that, Gibson was one of the most consistent and talented goalies in the league. His body language in Anaheim indicates frustration, so perhaps a change of scenery will energize him. And then kind of the next part of this saga is Frank Saravalli has a podcast at the Daily Faceoff called the DFO Rundown. And, of course, I'm going to listen to that right after he puts out a trade bait list because, of course, they went through it. And when they got to the John Gibson part, it was really interesting because they kind of talked a little bit about value, talked about whether you would do it or not, all those different things that, to be honest, you and I have talked about, right, already, with how he's played, with everything about his play. And while his on-ice play may not have been great the last couple of years, you and I both kind of agree at this point that there is a lot of value there because of the way GMs would perceive him. But Frank had this snippet that I think was very, very important. And he said, kind of worded in this very specific way of, here is something I can tell you. The Ducks are frustrated with Gibson, and they are frustrated with his frustrated body language. They think it, and he said the Ducks think it doesn't help that when you let in a goal and you give your teammates a death stare and are essentially looking them down as, or essentially blaming your teammates for why the puck went in the net, as Felix is celebrating for something just happening in the Warriors game and trying to contain himself as I'm relaying this information. But so this was the start of it, and I think that this was a really important piece because I feel like up until this point, a lot of the John Gibson narrative, I don't know if it was unfounded or if it was just fan speculation, if it was connecting the dots. There wasn't necessarily anything about it from the Ducks side of things. It was all speculation on Gibson's side of thing of, well, yeah, wouldn't he want to go to a contender? Maybe when Lindholm got traded, maybe that was a sign that he would want out because they're trading away guys of his similar age. And so it was a lot of things from the Gibson side of things. And so from the Duck side of things, this is the first we've heard of them potentially being frustrated with Gibson in any manner. And for anyone wondering, Frank Saravalli has worked his way up into being what? In that top 5 list probably of insiders. Would you agree?
Yeah. Him and Nick Alberga, I would say, really solid list.
Wow. The actual list, though, is going to be Friedman, I think Saravalli's. I just wobbled you off that one. You did because that was so bad.
I landed an early shot. I like it. I hope the judges' scorecards will reflect that.
Friedman, Saravalli, LeBrun, all the regular gamut of guys. Chris Johnston. Frank Saravalli has become one of those guys. And so I think when him saying this in the way he does, I think there is definitely truth behind it.
Right. I mean, the thing with insiders that you got to keep in mind is that they are only telling you a snippet of what they actually know.
Correct.
And so for this to make it to the top, to boil to the top, means there's a lot going on underneath the surface.
Especially when he words it in a specific way of, here is something that I can tell you.
Right. Exactly. And this is something that's been rumbling around now, is that the Ducks, there is some frustration between team and player, and that, in the past when we had heard about John Gibson and his frustrations with the team, it was always to the effect of, well, he wants to win. Are they competitive or not? And you'll think back to the 32 Thoughts podcast with, Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick talking about, well, seeing Hampus Lindholm get traded, how did that affect him mentally? Right? All these different things. And now we're finally, for the first time ever, like you just said, we're hearing how the team is frustrated in the player, and not just the player wants the team to be better. And I think that that's very intriguing. And I mean, just to address the report itself, the body language thing, I don't think it's wrong at all. I mean, having watched every Ducks game the last 4 years or whatever, when John Gibson is frustrated, it's not hard to tell. When John Gibson is not feeling it, when John Gibson is angry at his teammates or at the situation or what have you, he is not a happy camper. And I don't want to hold that against him because it's tough. It's tough being a goalie who's a competitor on a really good team and having to deal with losing all those years. That's what's gonna bring out maybe the worst in your personality, kind of the other side of that double-sided blade when you're a really competitive guy. And so I don't want to hold it against him, but the fact of the matter is that it's going to rub some people the wrong way.
Well, especially when you're a leader on the team, right? And you're looked at to be a leader for the Ducks team. And I think when you're blaming other guys, that's probably going to look down upon poorly because, I mean, at the end of the day, John Gibson is one of the most high-profile players on this team.
Yeah, I mean, who? I mean, besides Trevor Zegras, is because I think Troy Terry's a big name, but John Gibson has been a bigger name his entire career.
Yeah, Felix. By the way, move your mic away just a little. I'm getting some things in the chat that your mic sounds a little hot and poppy. So, for anyone out there, sorry about that.
Hot and poppy? Should that be my new nickname?
That should be your new name, Felix.
Is that better?
We'll find out as we go along more. But yeah, so I think that's the kind of where this all starts is that Frank Saravalli put out that list, and that really that sat over the weekend, right? I don't think there was really anything else that came out over the weekend.
No, nothing super noteworthy.
Yeah.
If anything.
And so really kind of where everything came to, though, was this morning, Nick Alberga decided to drop a little bit of a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you tell us about it?
Oh, I don't have that tweet up, but I will go and find it right now. So give me 1 sec. I thought you were going to take this over.
I have it up.
I figured you did.
Yeah, well, I mean, the report was earlier today, this morning, hearing that Ducks goaltender John Gibson is open to being dealt, and belief out of Anaheim is he's informed the club of that. And so I think we need to talk about first what this actually means, because that is already the biggest discrepancy that I've seen in the reactions to this tweet. So to me, what that says, I think a lot of people interpreted that as John Gibson wants out, that he's asked to leave, right? Would you agree that that's how you saw a lot of people interpreting it?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people saw that as, okay, like this is the big trade request on the heels of the Sarah Valley reporting and everything we've heard. This is finally it. This is where the cookie starts to crumble. I read that more as, okay, there's been chatter. Some of it has been from the team side about their own frustrations. And if the conversations have been had, he's basically telling them, whether he's telling them directly or through his agent, hey, if there is indeed a trade in the works, like, I'm not going to stand in your way. I'm open to it, whatever. Like, that to me isn't a hard, oh, he wants out.
Yeah.
To me, that's a pretty reasonable interpretation.
No, I think that's reasonable. I think the one thing I would maybe add to that is that, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this, but I think that the thing I would add to that is that you don't go out of your way to say you are open to being dealt if that's not a conversation that you're having a bunch. And so I think that is the thing here with this is, I think while Nick is careful with the way he's wording it, I don't think it's as cut and dry as you're saying it is. I think there is something to the fact of, and now you're giving me a questioning look. By the way, sit back a little bit from the mic. People are saying you're still a little hot. This is just going to be as Felix is starting to come at me a little bit. I just think that there's a little bit more there. I think you're right. I think that it's not this cut and dry thing of
he wants out.
Yeah, I don't think that's what this is saying, but I think there's more to it than simply saying, oh, this is ho-hum, nothing to see here.
No, it's definitely not nothing. I don't think I've ever tried to say that.
Okay.
But I think the other part of this is that the belief that he has informed the club of that. Him informing that he's open to being traded could have happened in any context.
That's fair.
Like, we don't, because the way that that's phrased, I think a lot of people are saying, oh, he is the one that approached them about, yes, I'm open to you dealing me. And we don't actually know if that's the case. All we know is that he has passed this information to them.
So let me just, let's get into the next part, because something just came to me on this. I think is relevant to the conversation, but let's get to the next part of all of this before we come back to it.
Okay, well, I mean, you don't have anything else to say?
No, because it's very much linked to the next part.
So anyway, I just wanted to point out that report happened, and I think that we just need to contextualize what it actually says and what it means or what it could mean, as opposed to just going with the biggest takeaway that a lot of people seem to have had.
Correct.
Okay. After that, though, I'm just going to cut to Eric Stevens' reporting on this.
I think that covers it, basically.
It was the most detailed one. So Kurt Overhart, who is the agent for John Gibson, was asked about the trade reports by Eric Stevens, presumably, and this was his response. He says, "There's nothing to say that John's not committed to the success of the team and the continuing build to success with his club. Obviously, under a new general manager, there's probably going to be new opportunity and a different plan, but he's committed to do his job and play his role." And basically after that, he just said that, so he was asked by Eric Stevens if asking for a trade out of Anaheim or being open to one, if any of that was true. He said that neither is true. So good on Eric Stevens for asking kind of the appropriate question there. So that's it. So that's what we've got. We've got one person saying that John Gibson informed the team that he's open to being traded. We don't know the context of that, but that is the fact of the matter. And then we've got the agent saying that that's not true and that John Gibson, kind of word salad is committed to the success of the team or whatever. So those are and then, we've got the other reports from last week and everything that we know. So that's kind of the competing information here.
Yes. And
now the question is, who are you going to believe?
Correct, because here are the two sides of it. You have Nick Alberga, who has gotten some Duck stuff right, but also gotten his fair share wrong. And for those that don't know, Nick Alberga, I think through childhood or who knows how, but he's good friends with Adam Henrique. So I think a lot of the information that you can gather from him with the Ducks, because it's funny, I think a lot of the news he ends up having in terms of quote unquote insider type news, it's typically about the Ducks. I think mainly due to that connection that he has with Adam Henrique, but most of the stuff he has gotten right specifically is on Adam Henrique specifically, with being scratched, various things like that. And so you have him, and then on the other side you have the agent who, as you've brought up, could have his own reasons for potentially
could
yeah,
absolutely
could.
Does
okay,
1,000,000% does.
Has his reasons, but could be someone that's stretching the truth or just straight up lying. And so the question I think ends up becoming here is essentially, which part do you believe more? And I think you and I actually fall on very different sides here, which is the interesting part. I think that what's potentially happened with Alberga after thinking this through right now and seeing all this is, it wouldn't shock me, because you look at Dave Pagnotta's tweet that he's heard about Gibson. Now it would make sense with if he's open to a trade, but the Ducks don't have to ask Gibson to be open to a trade. Basically, he only has a 10-team no trade list. They can move him without him being open to it, essentially. And so I think probably what happened is the Ducks really went out and looked at that. Maybe Nick Alberga got some information that John Gibson knew about it, but he never specifically was approached about saying, hey, yeah, I'm open to you moving me. It's just, hey, this is the reality of the situation. They're throwing my name out there. And that to me would make a whole lot more sense, because I really don't understand the benefit in Kurt Overhart putting this out. And I know you're going to say, well, it doesn't screw over the team, but he's out there just representing his player. His player is the only person that he's necessarily caring about right now. And if, for instance, his player is open to a trade and does indeed want out of Anaheim for whatever reason, whoever knows, him wording it in a way of saying, no, he has not specifically requested a trade, but if something were to come out, and now Felix is all about the game and not even listening. But if something were to materialize, John Gibson would be open to listening about it. Something kind of similar to almost what they did with Ryan Getzlaf, right? That Getzlaf essentially said that he was open to moving and various different things. And so I think that Kurt Overhart, to me, I just don't see the benefit in this being a lie. And I think that that's the biggest thing here, is that there's no real benefit. I don't really see the end game here in him publicly lying about this. So I think if I'm going to specifically believe one source or the other, one being Nick Alberga, one being John Gibson's agent who literally speaks to him, I'm going to trust the agent.
I mean, that's fine. So I guess we should kind of tell people why we're even having this conversation.
That's fair.
So I think that we're just trying to understand what's going on, because ultimately, and we've heard from other reports throughout the summer, right? We both think that John Gibson is gone.
Yes.
We both don't believe that he's going to be back with the Ducks next season. There's just too much smoke here for there not to be a fire, as Jake shows everyone his beard.
Hey, I was Heyo Defo asked me.
Okay, but the point being, we both think that this is happening, but it's not a moot point, though, because it's still important to understand the story. It's still important to know why this is happening, or just the details, right?
Yeah,
I think that
that's
people
fair.
People are interested in knowing why this is happening and how it's all breaking down, because it does seem to be breaking down a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you and I think the reason why we're talking about this right now is you and I really disagreed today in our Discord. One of the very few times where you and I really did not have any common ground.
Well, not to completely out you, but to completely out you. I mean, your reasoning seems to be, based on just what you've said on the pod, is that because you don't trust one source, you're going to trust the other over that.
Well, it's the fact that I don't trust that source necessarily, and the other person is the literal player agent.
Sure.
Who is the person that informs... But where do insiders typically get information? Agents, GMs, all these different types of things. And so we have a literal statement from a player agent and an insider, or I don't even know if I'll call him an insider, an analyst, whatever you want to call Nick Alberga, who has his hits and misses.
Right. But I guess my point is just that let's say that Frank Saravalli reported that the same thing, and then the agent came out and refuted it.
Then I would have more questions because I think Frank Saravalli has earned that trust.
Okay. So then at that point, the agent's word isn't necessarily as reliable.
I think in that sense, when you have someone that you know that vets their sources, gets multiple opinions on things, then I think that makes it more believable. I think the fact that you have Nick Alberga, who is someone that we just don't know how many sources he have, how he vets his sources, and so I think all of those things, it makes me question it a bit more.
Right. And I think that's a fair concern. I just think that what he is saying is very kind of, it's very lightly put. Like, it's not very forceful. It's saying that he's open to it. He's it's not very super specific language. I think that because it's so softly put, I think that it shows that there has to be something there. I was going
to say the opposite. I feel like that the fact that it's softly put makes it seem that there's less there.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know why. That would have to be true.
Because the information is hazy.
Right.
It's a game of telephone when it comes to that information.
I think that, look, like you said, we don't necessarily trust that source as much as others, but that is a pretty bold claim to make. And to get completely wrong would appear to be pretty damaging long term.
Well, it's not one that you're
gonna piss off some people.
I don't think necessarily that there's a way to prove that it's wrong, though. And I think that's the point there, that when you said it, it's kind of a soft point that he's making. It's not this very out there. And that's the reason, is that it's very hard to disprove this, right?
Right. And that's the whole thing.
And I think that is why I think it's less reliable, honestly.
Okay. Well, so here's my thing as it pertains to the agent. I think that hockey players, and now there's a kerfuffle going on in this game. Draymond Green is just in the middle of the Boston bench. No clue why that's happening. But I think that hockey players really, really care about not being seen as a distraction, as not being seen as above the team. And I really think that those types of, cliches are true about John Gibson. And so you don't want to be seen as the guy who's open to being traded, or who wants out, who could even be thought of wanting out, and who's being put above the team. And so I think the agent because the agents act at the beck and call of the player. And so if John Gibson just doesn't want this to be the rap about him, the agent goes out there and goes on damage control. So it's not crazy to think that all of this is true, but that John Gibson and his agent don't want it known in this way. Because that's when insiders piss people off, it's usually because the information is coming out in a way that they didn't want it to come out.
No, that's fair. I think that the one thing I'll put here is that what is more beneficial to John Gibson here, in terms of if indeed he is open to being moved. If that is,
I don't think he wants it known. I don't think he wants it known.
That's fair. That's fair.
I just don't think he wants to be talked about. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that's.
I just don't think he wants to be a story at all, and so that's why I see the agent report as possibly right, because we don't know for sure, but possibly just being PR control, right? Which is fine.
Do you think that if the agent comes out with a statement that's a bit softer on it, that says, well, John Gibson has been committed to Anaheim for a long time, but with a new GM coming in, he really wants to know where he stands and might be open to listening or hearing what other team, if there's other teams out there. And to me, I think that's a very soft way of putting it, that he could still be committed to Anaheim, but still could be listening. And if indeed that's how Gibson feels, then that makes it where more teams are interested in acquiring him. And that is more beneficial to Gibson on the whole. And that's where I'm at with this, is that is the most beneficial way of presenting it for Gibson if he indeed wants to be moved, or is open to being moved, or however you want to word it. And so I think, to me, that is why the fact that this statement's not that is why I tend to believe Kurt Overhart, because to me that is the way you would present the information if he does indeed want to, or is open to being moved.
So what I would say is that, this entire business is a game of relationships and managing your network.
That's fair.
And I really think that for Kurt Overhart, his first time dealing with Pat Verbeek, he probably doesn't want to have this big scandal, right? And doesn't want to have to make this kind of a slog, having him to make him answer questions, or having to have John Gibson answer questions that he doesn't want to. I think that they just want this to be a seamless process, right? And so maybe intuitively it might seem more beneficial to have it be known. Teams are tight-lipped. They don't want information to be known that they don't want to be out there.
Yeah.
And so for me, I see it as, sure, you could be right, and that maybe this is just exactly the truth. Or, maybe Kurt Overhart's playing the long game a little bit here, which is fine. Like, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and I think this is kind of where I end up on it, is you and I can debate this all day, right? And we're going to have our different opinions, and you're going to be Skip Bayless with things.
Wow. Accusatory.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But at the end of the day, I think that this doesn't really change things for me with where this is going. I think that a lot of this
Well,
is...
yeah, I've said that. I agree with that.
Yeah,
That's a non-point.
No, I think a lot of this is team-driven. And I think that's...
I agree.
And I think that's why all of this conversation at the end of the day is just us debating things to debate. Because we disagree on something, and it's fun to have debates about things you disagree on. But I think at the end of the day, this is all team. A lot of this is going to be team driven, and they are looking to move him because it's a smart thing to do, a smart thing to start investigating to see what you can get for him.
Well,
and so
sorry. Finish your thought.
And so I think that from the Ducks side of things, that's where the Saravalli thing doesn't necessarily impact any of this to me, because the Saravalli thing is specifically from the team side of things. And I think that there is a lot of truth.
Presumably.
Yes.
Presumably.
Well, it's the Ducks are frustrated with him. That is
but the thing is, you're not. I interpreted you saying that as the team is making that known.
Yes, fair.
Because to me, that's the big question, right? About that Saravalli report is who wants that information out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because someone does.
That's true.
Insiders only tell us what they can find out, and usually what they can find out is what somebody wants them to know.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
And so why would the Ducks though want this to be known about? Why would anyone want this to be known about John Gibson?
Yeah, there really isn't a positive to it, and the more positive side would be from the John Gibson side of things.
My view on it is that I think, and now this is speculation, but I think that the Ducks, if it was indeed them who put this out there, or who maybe just didn't guard it, I think that it gives them an out. It gives them a reason for why they're trading him. Because on its face, yes, John Gibson hasn't been at his level consistently the last 3 to 4 years, but he's still a household name. He's still an all-star. He's still the face of the franchise in some ways. And so why on earth would you trade that guy? And so when it's known that there is actually some disconnect between him and the team and the front office and teammates, whatever, kind of gives you an out. Kind of makes it a little easier to sell the idea of trading him.
Yeah, that's fair. And talking about selling things, gentlemen, Father's Day is just around the corner, and our friends at Manscaped are here to ensure that all the father figures out there are looking daddy material this June. Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0, which includes their signature Lawnmower 4.0, is the perfect bundle to tackle any and all old man hair from head to toe. This right here is no dad joke. Treat him and yourself and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. With this exclusive offer, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CTP at manscaped.com. Trust me, his dad bod will thank you. Manscaped is designed, by the way, with fathers in mind, and the Performance Package 4.0 is here just in time for your pop special day. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver balls deodorant, Crop Reviver, toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold his goodies. And first off, let me start by saying the Lawnmower 4.0 will be the official MVP of Father's Day. Felix, who's the MVP of that game right now as you're watching?
Andrew Wiggins.
Okay, there you
100%.
go.
I think he is a father.
Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has 400K LED spotlight he needs for a more precise shave. And does your dad use the same trimmer for his body and face? Well, let's throw that out the window and give him the upgrade he deserves. But wait, Felix, there's more. Manscaped just launched their brand new Boxers 2.0 that are, dare I say it, the best boxers ever. And we all know dads love their comfort. With the summer just around the corner, the Boxers 2.0 are here to save every father from the uncomfortable heat. These boxers are packed with revolutionary features, including the jewel pouch, designed to cradle his boys in their own space. That right there is the game changer. Whether he's mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, or golfing in the sun, these moisture-wicking boxers breathe without breaking a sweat. So dads, buy this for yourself. Sons, buy this for you and your dads. Ladies, buy this for your man and dog daddies. You deserve this treat too. You can get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CTP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code CTP. Felix, shake what your mama gave you. Nah, shake what your daddy gave you.
I think I've finally figured out. Oh my God. Oh
yes, Felix.
Klay Thompson. Damn. I guess I finally lost it. I think I finally know the number of times that I can hear you say "daddy" on a podcast before I get uncomfortable. I think it's 3 or however many it was that you said.
I think there were 2.
I think there were 3. It felt like more. I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's 2. There's only 2. I just did
come on.
I just did a search. Oh. So we should probably get back to talking about hockey, Felix.
Yes, there's 1:19 left in this game, and the Warriors are up 16 points.
Oh, that game's over. Okay.
It's not over. Not over till it's over.
Wow.
Don't jinx it. Don't you dare jinx it.
It's over. All right. So, anything else on the John Gibson front?
So, I think that I'll just say that it's weird. It's kind of weird that this is how it seems to be coming to an end, right? That this whole he doesn't get along with his teammates, this whole he wants out or whatever, right? Like this isn't how I saw things coming to an end, but it feels like we're reaching this point where how many tweets, how many reports can there be and he still comes back, right? It just feels so improbable now with all that's being said and with all that we know that he will be a member of the Ducks come next season.
Yeah, and it's weird because, I mean, it's been, 7 years off the top of my head, I think, for him in the Ducks uniform. And so it's been a long time for him as a Duck. And up there in terms of every single record, basically, from a Ducks goalie. 9 years. Sorry, I was off. 9 years, right. 378 games played, 370 games started, and just been really like a stalwart for this team for a long time. And I mean, had his really great years from 22 to 24 at 920 save percentage, 924 save percentage, 926 save percentage, was an elite goalie over that time period. And it's definitely odd.
Yeah, it is odd. And I do think that when it comes to John Gibson, people are going to ask us, and we have been asked about it, but I'll say it again. It makes a ton of sense for I almost said the Warriors, for the Ducks. Oh wow, the starters have come out. This game is officially over. Holy crap. The white towel has been thrown in by the Boston Celtics. They look shocked. Holy crap. They just showed Jaylen Brown's face. What was I going to say? Something about John Gibson.
I'm giving you plenty of rope right now.
It makes you've talked about wrestling so much on this podcast. Anyway,
usually it's people asking me about it, though.
It's at the end. I think it makes complete sense for the Ducks to trade John Gibson. Like, I think that they should trade John Gibson. Like, now is the time. His value, this is the highest it can, like, I don't think that we're going to have, I don't know how many more seasons we're going to have where his value and his name recognition remains this high.
Yes.
Because of the way he's played the last few years. So now is the time to cash in. Now is the time to go out and get assets. And even if, you're not getting like a star caliber player in return, it doesn't really matter. As just accumulate assets, continue this train that you've started with Pat Verbeek. And then, as we're going to get into with some of the names that are out there, maybe flip those assets and then go out and get the bigger piece that really turns you into a contender. So
yeah,
I think that the Ducks have a massive opportunity here with this John Gibson trade.
Yeah, they 100% do, and we mentioned this on the Patreon episode. Actually, was when it was. But you don't need to necessarily go out and get a NHL player in this. You don't even necessarily need to get a prospect from this. You need to go out and just, if you can get, let's just say 3 first-round picks or 3 first-round pick equivalent talents. That then stocks your prospect pool and your picks to where you can then go out and get a Kevin Fiala just based upon that deal. You can then go out and get an Alex DeBrincat, because the issue is that the Minnesota Wild might want Gibson, but the money would be tough to make it work. The Chicago Blackhawks have no need for John Gibson. They want picks and prospects. And so if you then trade John Gibson to a team that needs a goalie and is willing to trade picks and prospects, you can take those and flip them. And I think that's the biggest thing here, is that the Ducks shouldn't necessarily be picky about which team to move him to. Just move him to the team that's going to give you the highest amount of picks or the most amount of value, and then you can always flip that for other people. And that's essentially what the Ducks need to be looking to do here with this deal.
Yeah, I agree. And you guys are almost done with me here. There's 10 seconds left. Golden State Warriors, Jake, are 1 win away from the NBA championship. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
1 win away. They have 2 games to do it now. Okay. Wow, I'm in shock. Yeah, so do you want to go over this list?
Yes.
Do you want to go over this trade bait list?
So, number 1 on the list, and this was the big news, Alex DeBrincat. And this seems, per Frank's list, and it was not just per Frank. I believe Elliot Friedman had a similar thing. I can't recall that off the top of my head. But there was one other insider that had a similar thought, that this is a situation where it's not they're looking at trading him. They're exploring trading him. This is they are going to deal him either at the summer or at the trade deadline. This is a for sure thing that the Blackhawks are doing, because he's 24, going to be 25 next year, but they are now starting their rebuild.
Right.
So by the time they are going to be competitive again, he's going to be 29 or 30. And so they are making the decision that, hey, a 24-year-old is too old for us at this point with where we're starting it. We could use picks and prospects instead. And so if you get picks and prospects from a John Gibson trade, you can then flip that for an Alex DeBrincat. And I forget what the proposed trade people thought would be, but it honestly wasn't that high of a deal. I was kind of surprised that it was like a first and a good, really, really good prospect. So essentially 2 first-round picks.
Right. Well, so, to me, with Alex DeBrincat, the fact that he's 24 years old, the fact that, yes, you are going to have to pay him, he fits the exact mold of the kind of player we've been talking about for the last few years. This is the kind of guy that you want to target if you're the Ducks. A guy that fits exactly the window where you're trying to be competitive in. Now, the question will be, how much will he cost you to get out of there?
Yeah, and that's going to be the ultimate question here. But I think no matter what, you got to look at doing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that pretty much, everyone that we're talking about here on this board that's available, the Ducks should be in on. Everyone that fits their window, they should be in on. And they could be in on multiple players this offseason. We've heard about David Pastrnak over the weekend. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they should be in on everyone. The Ducks have an opportunity to really kickstart. It's not really a rebuild anymore. They are building now to be playoff contenders, which sounds weird because they just finished outside of the postseason yet again. They're picking 10th overall, but they have the nucleus now of a team where you just need to insert some established star level talent, not the likes of a declining Rickard Rakell or Hampus Lindholm, but a true star like an Alex DeBrincat, Pastrnak, I'll just throw his name out there, and then Kevin Fiala. These are the kind of guys that now you can bring in, and that's going to elevate you and move you further down than you would have been otherwise.
Yep. Number 2 on the list, someone we've talked about significantly, is Kevin Fiala. And so, you and I both agree they should go for him. Here's the thing. They could get one of these guys without moving Gibson.
Oh, yeah. I think... Well, so for both... We're talking about both Chicago and Minnesota here?
Yeah.
I don't think Gibson's going I don't think either of those teams would take Gibson.
No, but my point is that before trading John Gibson, before getting the assets back, they could get one of these guys without that. If they then trade Gibson, there's a world we live in where the Ducks could get both DeBrincat and Fiala.
Yes, and you're going to have to give up a lot, right? Like, all put together, it's going to look like a lot. But DeBrincat and Fiala on that Ducks team is a huge, huge kickstart.
I mean, think about just what that does for this Ducks franchise. You have a 1-2 punch on the left wing that's locked in for years now, and you then can drop Sonny Milano down a little bit lower on the totem pole, and he's now on your third line. And we both rave about Sonny Milano, but it puts him in a really good role for him as a third liner on a good team, right?
Right.
Like, right. I think we both like Milano. I don't think either of us view him as a top-line talent necessarily in terms of having the offensive ability to stick as a first-line talent. He could be a second liner.
I mean, he played like it last season. The thing is, we just don't know how well he can keep that up.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And so I think that both of these are intriguing names, and I mean, they're going to be, here's the thing, they're going to be intriguing for a lot of teams. They're 1 and 2 on the list for a reason.
Right. I mean, everybody in the league that's in a position to compete and that has any kind of cap space and flexibility, they're going to want to go after them. They make so much sense.
And that's the interesting part, that we should talk about, is that on to Brinkat, the hard thing is that he has a $9 million qualifying offer at the end of next season.
Yeah.
And so the interesting thing here is, I mean, a lot of teams can shift things around to make it work, right? We see that with a lot of the really good teams, the really good cap teams. But the Ducks are in a position where they can pull off this deal and give him that qualifying offer, no issues.
Right. I mean, that's the whole thing, and that's the benefit of this cap space that Pat Verbeek has accumulated. That's the benefit of not re-signing Raquel, Lindholm, and Manson, is that now you can go out and do these things that will actually make a difference.
Yeah. And Kevin Fiala, same thing, pending RFA. Like, They have the cap space to give him whatever he wants. And so these are two guys, while they are very enticing players and they're 1 and 2 on the list for a reason, you have to have cap space to be able to make it work.
I mean, let me ask you this. For any of these deals, is there who either on this roster or in the system is like an untouchable for you? Who's someone that you're not trading for any of these guys?
There's one player.
One?
Yeah, one.
Wow. Interesting.
One. Trevor Zegras.
Yeah. Wow. So would you trade Troy Terry?
If there's a correct deal, yeah. I mean, it depends on the deal, obviously. I don't think that there would ever be a correct deal that would make Troy Terry, it makes sense, but I think you would listen to whatever you can.
Sure.
I think Trevor Zegras is the only one where if someone asks, you just hang up the phone.
Yeah, because I think if you're trading Zegras, no matter what you get back, you're kind of losing the big value add.
Yep.
Because all of a sudden, you're throwing the guys you're getting into a bit of a void.
Yeah.
Whereas if you keep him, you're building something now.
K-Nick 97, who I wonder if that's Kyle Nicholas. Shout out if it is, let us know.
Derek Grant.
Untouchable Derek Grant.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore that because that just gave me some shudders.
Yeah. So moving on the list, anything else though before we keep going?
Well, I did want to ask you.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that you also took into consideration the system as well on the farm.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no single prospect that you wouldn't trade.
No, I mean the closest would probably be
would have to be McTavish, right? You're very pro trade McTavish.
I'm not necessarily pro trade McTavish.
It's because he doesn't excite you.
It's a little bit of that.
I've determined that because of what he isn't, you hold that against him.
Probably. You know,
it's okay.
There's actually probably truth there. So the only one for me is probably Zellweger. That would be the closest one to being an untouchable.
Yeah, I think that trading a Zellweger or a McTavish makes those trades to me a little less exciting. But at the same time, you're getting guys who are already as good as you hope for those guys to become in the NHL and are still, they're still in an age where they're going to be prime producers for a while.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that if you can, I actually don't know if it's going to take those kind of prospects to get those guys out of those situations?
I don't think so, because Fiala, I think Fiala maybe could be a first round pick in Lundestrom.
Everyone knows that those guys are gone, right? Or that those guys have to, especially for Minnesota. Everyone knows that Minnesota's up against it cap-wise. So why would you give up your best prospect in one of the better prospect pools?
Yes.
To help them out. It just doesn't make sense.
I mean,
Lundestrom in a first, if I am a Wild fan...
Oh, I'm pissed.
I am pissed.
Yeah.
Completely pissed.
But I could see that being the deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, Isaac Lundestrom, I think right now is very well looked upon because of the season he just had and face-offs and goals, and I don't know what other stat is favorable to him, but, you know.
Was plus minus favorable to him?
Did he have a good plus minus? Maybe.
I don't know. I know he wasn't good in the face-off.
Defensive zone starts.
Oh, yes. Good defensive zone starts.
He starts a lot. Could be good, could be bad, but he does start in the defensive zone a lot.
Yeah.
Coaches love him. Coaches trust him.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's used to North America now. Don't you forget that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so I think that I don't know if I think that it would take more than that.
Yep.
A little bit more.
Yeah, maybe you throw in another pick, a second round pick or something like that. Something along those lines. All right, moving on though. Jacob Chychrun. You have talked me off the Chychrun ledge.
I mean, I would hope that it wasn't me and it was just looking at his stats.
No, I'm giving you credit. You know, you can just take the credit.
Look, I'm effusive when it comes to praise.
Wow. But Jacob Chychrun, I think given the right deal, I think it's someone you still pursue because of the favorable cap hit and the age.
You can just get better now, is what it looks like.
Yeah. And
I mean, because to me, I don't really care about position with this offseason.
Agreed.
Just get me the best possible players, and right now all those players happen to be at forward.
Yep. I think that if you can get a Jacob Chychrun on a reasonable deal, and that's the question, is what is it going to take to get him? I think it's something that you definitely you look at going for. The question is, what is that return going to be? I think his cap hit over the next couple of years is very favorable, but I mean, we've talked about it. The Ducks have a lot of cap space right now that is not necessarily something that you want to pay a premium for.
Well, yeah, so I think my big criticism of getting Jacob Chychrun isn't really about the player so much as it is what it would cost to get him.
Yes.
And so, like, the Eichel return for Jacob Chychrun is crazy to me. And not in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's worth that. And so that's where my hesitation is. But if the market for him dries up and he still wants out, then by all means, try to get him. Because the Ducks need some defensemen from somewhere. Like, it's like they can't trot out what they had last season and expect better results, I don't think.
Okay, so I'm just going to skip over the guys that are... So JT Miller, I think we both are no on. 29 years old.
No, doesn't fit.
Yeah. Number 2 overall pick. Gibson for number 2?
Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
In your heart of hearts?
Yeah.
In your dark heart?
Why is my heart dark? I'm the light one here.
Okay.
You're the one that sympathizes with the Sith.
You're the baby face.
I am. I'm the Jedi. You're the Sith.
Yeah, Kenobi. Great series so far. Good fan service. I still don't know. I don't know if that's possible. Number 2 is it's a really valuable piece. And just straight up for John Gibson seems like, how badly does New Jersey want John Gibson, I guess is my question.
Yep. And I think
like how much do they value that number 2 pick? Have they even said that they're willing to trade it? I actually don't know. Like, I just don't know.
I mean, it's on the trade bait board as the number 5 thing. That means that they're probably open to moving it.
So, do you think that you have to include something to get the number 2 pick?
By the way,
John Gibson?
Tybal the Fiend Blooded just with a great shout out. He's like, so Jake is Wardlow and Felix is MJF. Yes.
Don't know what that means.
Yes.
But yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they have to include something, but that would be intriguing. I also don't know who the Ducks would pick at number 2, right? Like, some years that actually means something.
Slafkovsky.
You know exactly. Will he be available at number 2?
Slafkovsky. Wow. All right. Number 6 was Tony D'Angelo. I think we'll both just say pass.
Yes, for various reasons.
John Gibson. We've discussed that at depth.
No, the Ducks aren't trading for John Gibson.
Tyson Barrie, 30 years old, pass. Pavel Zacha.
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of lukewarm in terms of what it would take to get him. Philippe Meyer.
I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah. Agreed. Really, the only reason why Philippe Meyer makes sense for a team is a team can trade for him and then buy him out and get a salary cap credit.
Okay.
Sure. That is like the benefit to essentially getting Philippe Meyer. Jeff Petrie, nope. Here's an interesting one, though.
Whoa. Show some respect, former Hab.
An interesting one. This was also brought up on the DFO show, and I forgot to mention it. John Marino.
Yeah, you've been pumping this train a little bit here.
Yeah,
John.
And here's the reasoning from Frank. The Penguins have received a few calls on Marino ahead of last season's deadline, but remain focused and committed on their playoff push. The truth is Marino is not Pittsburgh's preferred choice to move on their back end. That would be Marcus Pettersson, but no team seems willing to take on Pettersson's 3 more years at just over $4 million. While there are teams interested in Marino, and the Penguins have a real need to move money if they're going to run it back with Letang, Malkin, and Russ next season.
Do you want his contract, though?
John Marino? 5 years at 4.4?
It's, 5 years at 4.4. He's got a modified no trade in the last 3 years, but it's at 8-team no trade list, so not too crazy.
Here's the question.
He's 25.
Would you rather have John Marino or re-sign Josh Manson?
Ooh, that's a fun little question. He's younger, so I guess I have to say John Marino.
Boom. I mean, honestly, I would rather
Josh Manson was maybe better than him this season.
I would rather take Marcus Pettersson.
Sure, but is he available? Is he on this list?
Yeah. No. Did you not listen to me when I said this? He's like, basically, the truth is Marino is not Pittsburgh's preferred choice to move on their back end. That would be Marcus Pettersson, but no team seems willing to take on Pettersson's 3 more years at just over $4 million. While there are teams interested in Marino.
If you look at Marcus Pettersson's RAPM chart from last season, he was an elite defenseman.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything else. Doesn't drive offense, but elite at suppressing offense. And so, man, I would love that. I would love the Marcus Pettersson homecoming. Yeah. Like how poetic would it be to just have Paverbeek righting the wrongs, essentially, of Bob Murray.
Wow. Yeah. Who else? Bring back Andre Kasha.
Yeah. Bring back, I forget that trade tree. So it's Marcus Pettersson for Daniel Sprong. Then it's Daniel Sprong for Christian Juice.
And that's it, because Christian Juice was lost to waivers.
It's Christian Juice for nothing.
For nothing.
For a bag of air.
That wasn't the best trade tree ever.
It's a fun one.
It's an okay one.
I just like how it progressively gets worse.
Yeah.
Like Marcus Pettersson is the best player on that list.
100%.
And I'm saying that as a Daniel Sprong truther.
Am I remembering correctly that Marcus Pettersson was traded because the team believed in Jacob Larson more?
I mean, that's been the reason. That was the reason for Shea Theodore as well. Yes.
No, but like specifically that Pettersson and Larson broke into the league in the same time, and they believed in Larson more than Pettersson.
Yep. And let me ask you this, Jake. Which one was a first-round pick and which one wasn't? There's your answer.
Yep, that's fair. But still, turns out that was an awful decision.
I mean, look at it this way, though. Jacob Larson has lost some people some jobs.
Well, remember, you say that about the first-round pick and second-round pick, but who was a first-round pick and who was a second-round pick? Shea Theodore and Brandon Montour.
I feel like I should know this. Shea Theodore was a first-round pick?
Yes.
Okay.
And Brandon Montour was a second, and they kept Montour over Theodore.
Yeah, I mean, I really think, though, that was more about the playoffs and the fact that he had like 4 bad games or something.
Yeah.
Like 3 bad games.
But that goes against your point with Larson being a first-round pick and Pettersson being
That's
second.
fair. But I think that there you have the playoff component, which is a little different.
Fine. But regardless, just another point of poor talent evaluation.
I mean, the Ducks could have like a solid blue line right now if they just hadn't
Theodore Pettersson.
if they just hadn't made the wrong moves. Yeah, like just keep Shea Theodore, Marcus Pettersson. Like you're fine. This is all a moot point. But yeah, so that would be an interesting trade. I think because the Ducks, if they want to be good next year, and I think that they do, they're going to have to find a way to bolster that blue line in some way. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to go out and chase a name or, like sign a Tyson Barrie or something, and heaven forbid that, but they're going to have to do something there because I don't think you can expect Olin Zellweger to come in and save you that back there. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, agreed.
How much do you buy the Josh Manson homecoming?
I'd put it at 70%.
70? Mm-hmm. That he's not coming back?
No. Opposite.
Why is everyone in such a rush to bring him back?
I just think that it's connecting the dots.
Like, here's the thing. I know that his wife is from here, and that's literally been the only thing driving the rumors that he wasn't leaving, and I feel like that's the only thing driving the rumors that he's coming back. But, like, can we please come up with another reason for him doing anything in his career outside of the fact that his wife is from Southern California?
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, but like maybe, just maybe, he has ideas too, and maybe he wants to do stuff. Maybe she wants to do stuff. Like maybe she doesn't want to stay here because she's lived here her whole life. Like I hate how this happens every year where it's like, oh, the wife is from the area, therefore they have to come back. They have to stay. It's like maybe she doesn't want to stay. Maybe she's fed up with her family. Like what the hell?
Wow. That guy Bobski said Felix speaking like a true single man.
I mean, I understand. Like, I completely, I understand the point of view. I get it, but it's an assumption, right? And to me, oh, by the way, to me, if you're in a healthy relationship / marriage, it's not just one side wins the debate every single time.
What if he does not care about it and she does?
Well, sure. That could be true. The only critique I really have is that we're assuming that literally because she's from Southern California, that's the only place he wants to play, that he's going to play.
K-Nick saying he'll be Anaheim's David Perron, keeps getting shipped out at the deadline, only signing another one-year deal with the team in summer.
I don't know how this Manson take has taken on a
Lewis
life
saying
of its own.
Felix's voice has gone up 3 octaves talking about Josh Manson.
Look, I think that to me it's in a way it's like blaming the wife a little bit for like it's not blaming, but it's just like it's making it seem probably more simple than it is, and I don't like that.
Yeah. By the way, that guy Bobski, who is also moderating the chat along with Hey Odiflo, is now added polls into the chat that last only a certain amount of time. You probably missed this, but the last one was about who would win in a cage match, you, me, or a tie, and I got all of the votes.
How? Because you watch wrestling?
I would win in the cage match.
Okay. Also, I'm being sarcastically asked to tell us more about healthy marriages.
Yep.
Look. I'm gonna quit while I'm behind. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make the smart play here. I'm gonna dump it out instead of forcing a play and turning it over.
All right, here, let's get to questions. So, anything else on any of these? Any other trade targets? Anything else from the past week?
No, I just want to reiterate that you're wrong about the whole Gibson situation and that I'm right. And I think that's what we all agree on.
You know, I'm going to let that pass because on the Patreon episode, you actually admitted.
What did I admit?
You admitted to me being right and you being wrong.
But not about this. That
Agreed.
was yesterday.
No, I agree. I'm just saying. I'm giving you a pass right now. I'm giving you a pass.
I'm done.
All right, here we go. So questions from our Discord. That guy Bobski asked, question for Felix. Did you get a spicy text lately?
Yeah, I did. I got a spicy text today about the Gibson situation from a well-connected person. And that has colored my feedback, my view on all this.
Let's just say I saw it also, and it hasn't changed a thing for me.
You're very biased. Put it that way.
Am I? Or am I just skeptical?
You see names and you assume things, as opposed to judging the facts, or not the facts necessarily, but you're judging.
Isn't the source of the information important? You're digging yourself a hole.
You don't judge the information. You just look at who is saying it, and then you decide whether or not you're even going to give it the time of day.
Yeah, I think
everybody deserves a fair shake.
I feel like that's accurate, though.
I'm about equity and equality.
Isn't it like you have to judge the source?
You're a bigot.
Wow. Sir Bastard said, I forgot that Green Bastard changed his name to Sir Bastard. Can the podcast be done in a cage match form to settle the beef with violence? I mean, I would win because I'd just get a chair.
I've got nothing there.
Okay. CZO said, is Perry retiring after getting the three-peat, or will he then go to Colorado next to go cup collecting? Or does he come back and do a victory lap in Anaheim before retiring to train the kids?
I would love that. Even if he does sign for a day and retire.
Yeah.
I think he needs to retire a duck.
Keep in mind, he does have one more year on his deal in Tampa. He signed a 2-year deal, so it would have to be not this next year, but the year after.
Yeah, if he doesn't retire a duck, his number's not going up, is my prediction.
Yeah, that's just wrong. That's just incorrect.
I just wanted your reaction.
Okay, here we go. We're going to go to Twitter. Our good friend Trevor Zegras on Twitter said, hey, Jake, glad to have you guys back tonight. 3 questions for you guys. What would you...
3?
Yeah. What would a trade that sends DeBrincat to the Ducks look like?
Yeah, I think that's... I'm getting slandered for my Perry take.
A first-round pick, path to job, and a second.
Yeah, that's fair. Something like futures heavy.
Yeah. Would this be a fair trade? Toronto receives Gibson and a 4th-round pick. Anaheim receives Nylander and Mrazek.
Wait, who?
Gibson and a 4th for Nylander and Mrazek.
No, you have to pay more for Nylander.
Oh, that way. Okay.
You think that's a fair trade?
Yeah.
You're insane.
Okay, let me rephrase this. I don't think Toronto does that because I think they're smarter to understand where he's at. But I mean, who knows? I think that is about proper value for John Gibson. You said this yesterday.
William Nylander.
Public perception.
William Nylander.
Yes, public perception. Do you see how people talk about Nylander in Toronto?
Well, sure, but that's Toronto. They say a lot of things. Are we basing our opinions off of that? I mean, the guy had 80 points in 81 games last season. I don't know. Maybe I'm overvaluing Nylander, but I think
I think you're undervaluing Gibson in terms of his trade value. All right, who has the likelier chance of playing 10 plus games next season? Hellison or Zellweger? Oh, it's easy.
I mean, you're gonna say Zellweger. I'm trying to think why it could be Hellison.
No, it is Hellison.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, the easy answer is Hellison because Zellweger can't play in the AHL.
Yeah, but he could come out. I mean, he could just be that good.
Yeah, that's fair.
And come in and light it up.
But I think it's more likely that he does not stick in the NHL next season and he goes back to junior and Hellison comes up for a couple of however many games because there's no burning a year, there's no ELC slide, nothing like that. And so, so it is. It's definitely Hellison.
Okay.
If it's one game or 2 games, who's going to play 1 game or 2 games first, then the answer is Zellweger. 10 plus games, Hellison.
Okay.
Did I convince you?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if we should talk about this.
What?
Something about Connor McDavid.
Sure, go for it. What do you want to talk about? Or should we not?
Okay.
I'll let you get us in trouble. It's not me that's doing this.
What's your take? What's your take on McDavid Gate, the paparazzi? Is he married?
No.
Okay.
He is not married.
I mean, doesn't change anything. But
doesn't change anything. Let's just go with this. It's not a good look at all.
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty look.
It's a very shitty
look. Like, I don't think you can like overstate how bad that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Maybe they're on a break. That's the hope.
Someone does need to make a GIF or something like that, or TikTok or something with the and that is when he knew he fucked up.
I just love the Kevin Weeks face just photoshopped onto that as the background.
Yeah, too good.
Kevin Weeks here reporting from. Yeah. I mean, we're getting some differing opinions in the chat. I will just say that it's a poor look, poor form.
Yeah, not a good look. All right, let's see. Oh, Brent Roberts had sent me an email. I wanted to get to this, saying Capo Caco, who was scratched by the Rangers. Do the Ducks send Tay Muslani with an offer sheet in hand to Caco?
I'm done with this Capo Caco talk.
In what way? In what way?
I'm done. I just, like, you know, he's probably, I think he's better. Like, this is probably suppressing his perception a little bit. But is he really a guy that you want to throw an offer sheet at? Like, look at how his results were this past year. Like, he's looking to be kind of just like not like a bad or fringe NHLer, but just not a really impact guy. Like, he's just not showing that. And sure, he's only 21. He's still got a lot of runway left, and maybe he'll improve, but that's a big swing on a guy who maybe hasn't shown enough to take that swing.
Yeah, I still think it's one probably worth taking. But, you know, that's just me. Here we go. We got this, let's see. Oh, no, not a question. Never mind. Our good friend Tony Leo had texted me. I thought he had texted me a question, but turns out he just wanted to make sure that we got that Kurt Overhart thing read on the pod. I'm like, Tony, we're going to read that no matter what.
Yeah, why wouldn't we read that?
Tony, text me tomorrow when you hear this and respond. All right, let's get to Twitch. So for anyone in Twitch chat, please start throwing your questions in. But for those of you on YouTube, yes, we're on YouTube, youtube.com/crashpond, where you can like and subscribe to our channel. Get notified whenever our videos go live, which will be shortly after the stream is done. So please go support us there. It does help. Or if you're listening on your favorite podcast services, you can find us every Monday night. Well, come summer, come off season, not every Monday, but you'll see us put the call out. It will be Mondays at 8 p.m. typically though, at twitch.tv/crashspawn, where you can support the show in a way that really helps us. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime gaming sub each and every month. You do have to hit that subscribe button after 30 days, and it does help support us more than you can imagine. You can also hit that follow button, and that way you will get notified whenever we go live. And with the subscription, though, you get special emotes in the chat, special badges next to your name. So let's go to this. B1 Samdi, our good friend Spencer, said, which Stanley Cup final team should the Anaheim Ducks model their build after? The Tampa Bay Lightning or the Colorado Avalanche?
I mean, you can't go wrong with either.
Yeah.
But I would say Colorado, just because I'm not a huge fan of the Tampa Bay blue line, although I'm saying that, and the Avalanche have Jack Johnson and Eric Johnson out there, partially because of injury, but that is a thing that's happening. I would still go Colorado, though, just because of the way they prioritize mobility on the back end.
I probably would also. Heyo Deflo said, question, will Johnny Gaudreau be a Duck next season?
No.
They're not going to want to give him the term that he's going to want, and they're right for not doing that. Let's see. Priya Pismic saying, any draft guru guests coming up in the next few weeks? Felix?
Me. It's me, the draft guru.
I have put this on Felix to try to get someone. So Felix?
I'll get someone.
There we go. There you go.
Don't
folks.
hold your breath, but I'll get someone.
There you go. You can hold Felix accountable because I'm putting this on Felix.
Clip this. Yeah,
clip this. That guy Bobsky said, if Gibson doesn't want to be the center of the news, how would he do in an Edmonton or Toronto market?
Poorly, but he'd be on a better team. Presumably. I don't know what Edmonton is going to look like moving forward. Also, by the way, we didn't talk about Jesse Puljujärvi, but his name is also out there.
His name or Kyler Yamamoto. I'd be interested in either.
Yeah.
Yes, Puljujarvi, actually, his RAPM charts look really, really nice.
Yeah.
Late Arrivals Pod, which, by the way, some of the good friends of this show are creating their own podcast. You hear us mention Lewis a lot.
Yeah.
Lewis is going to be on a podcast.
I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid. What's the over-under on number of episodes before he gets canceled? Just for his insane like food takes, not for anything like
actually cancelable.
Yeah.
Lou, I'm excited to listen. Let's go with that. But
wow, damning with faint praise.
I've already told Chris that he needs to start the very first episode asking him about geography.
Okay.
Wow, just no selling. What is your hope at number 10 in the draft?
I don't know.
For me, I really at this point with my research and everything like that, I really like Savoy, and I think he's someone that could fall and is all over the place. And I think
the reason I don't know is because I just have no clue how it's gonna break down.
That's fair.
That's my whole problem there.
I guess hope though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I have no clue how Frank Nauser where he's gonna go, but if he at all slides, I just want that skating ability. I want to see that with this roster. I just don't know if he's gonna make it that far.
Yep. B-Dottle said, question, if Gibson is being shipped out, would you bring in a youngish veteran like Ville Husso or just roll with Stolars and Dostal?
That's a good question. I don't know if Dostal's ready for NHL duty.
Agreed.
Yet. So I think that would make sense just as like a stopgap.
And Ville Husso was really good this year.
Yeah, and I think that a tandem of Husso and Stolars would be awesome.
Yep.
I don't know who starts in the playoffs, but whatever.
Pushhead2 said, and tipped us 100 bits, says, what's the single best move the Ducks can do that can improve this team next year and future the most? DeBrincat.
Yeah.
I think
I saw another question that had me cracking up already.
Yeah. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to change that. I'm going to say getting Jesse Puljujarvi.
Whoa.
I look at his RAPM charts. That was something that I had looked at, and it's actually really impressive how good he's been. And so now, granted, part of it, it's
he's
hard
not
to
a great finisher.
Fair.
Yeah.
And so that's the give and take, right? Is what do you need next to Zegras, though?
And that's the whole thing, is that he's not a great finisher, but he's not a bad finisher either. Yeah, I mean, Puljujarvi and DeBrincat, you can have them as 1A, 1B. I do think that Fiala is outside of that because he's a little older.
Yep.
But I think those two names are a good place to start.
Puljujarvi's RAPM charts are just insane. I would show them.
RAPM?
RAPM, RAPM. Have you not heard the Twins call it that?
Yes, but I've never heard you say that.
Yeah, it was the first time. Sometimes you just let it go, you flow, you let things go and try new things.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, that guy Bobsky gave us 69 bits for the late arrival pod and Lou. So there you go.
Nice.
Kyle Nicholas said Byron Bader implied that Edmonton and Colorado would be throwing down at the chance to bring in Gibson. Both look unlikely, but if Colorado is serious, they'll probably have to make the deal with the roster player. What's your opinion on Sam Girard? He's young, 24 years old, signed for 5 years, and talented but pricey. $5 million for all 5 years. That's actually not that pricey for what he is. And so, I mean, I would be jumping all over getting Sam Girard.
What is he, though?
Top 4 defenseman.
I mean, that's not really what he was this year, at least. He was pretty poor this year by RAPM.
Wow.
When you wrap him up, he is not. He was bad this year.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at that yet, but I think that he's still a guy that I would target.
There's good priors there, though.
Yes.
I mean, his best season, which may be a little bit of a red flag, was the COVID season with the funky divisions. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that I like the way he plays, and I want to see how that would look with this team, with these players around him. But he's already been in a pretty damn good situation. So I would maybe have some pause just because he was so poor this last season.
Fair enough. Dalton Keys asked, question for Felix. Would you rather fight to the death versus a stingray in a swimming pool or eat nothing but Del Taco for a year?
So this is a tough one. But I've experienced a stingray sting, and I've come out on top. I'm feeling good. My foot is good. I would rather deal with that. And worst case, I get stung, pop a Norco, and boom, pain is gone. I would rather do that 100% than eat Del Taco for a year. Like,
Wow.
Of course. I actually, who would want to eat Del Taco for a year?
You've been muted, Felix. Wait, I actually have something to add to this conversation that's different than my normal conversation.
Okay.
With this, which is, obviously Del Taco's great. This is just pure blasphemy. There's so many good things at Del Taco, but
like the burgers,
French fries are great. There's crispy chicken tacos. Their regular chicken tacos. All of it so good. Their quesadillas are great. Their bean and cheese burritos great. Everything's fantastic. But getting back to what I was getting at, I had a request to get Taco Bell from someone this weekend. And so I went and had Taco Bell, and this must have been probably the first time I've had it in maybe 5 years. 5 or 6 years.
It's better than Del Taco. I'm so glad that you saw the light.
And I have to say, it wasn't horrible with the item I liked. But it's just not good. Like, the Crunchwrap Supreme is the only thing that was good there. I got a quesadilla, which was nowhere close to as good as a quesadilla from Del Taco. I got a bean and cheese burrito, which had the red sauce was so weird and gross as compared to the Del Taco bean and cheese burrito being perfect for that. I even got a Doritos Locos Tacos to try that for the first time. Was gross. Not good.
You're an insane person. You're like, this is the most.
You know what's funny is there's so many people on Twitch chat that agree with me.
This is the highest volume of bad takes that I've seen that you amass in one podcast.
The Crunchwrap Supreme's the only good thing on their menu.
False.
You realize there's no one coming to your side in the Twitch chat.
You know what? I speak for those who can't speak for themselves. I give a voice to the voiceless.
Are you like, wait. Is that CM Punk on the other side over there? Is your foot feeling okay? Are you injured? You're the voice of the voiceless?
He didn't make that up. That's a thing. Anyway, look, there we go. Someone's on my side. Dark Purity 993, shout out. Shout out to you.
I don't know if RJ and Miteko is saying your take or my take's the worst they've had or heard in a while.
Chalupas. Yes, there you go.
Oh, new poll. Let's see where people go.
Oh, another person with me here. You're struggling.
Votes are 2-0. Or 3-0. By the way, Pushhead2 said Taco Bell is only good when it's 3 a.m. and there's nothing else open. Let me tell you this. Del Taco's open 24 hours.
So?
Just saying.
So?
Just saying.
Team Taco Bell. Shout out Dalton Keys.
This is, if we ever do a live show, we're going to have to do something.
Oh?
We'll have to do something. I'm going to make sure to have
my God, another person coming out.
I'm going to have
Shout out to B. Doddles.
I'm going to have to make sure that I get
RJ Mateko coming out. There's now more Taco Bell people than Del Taco. Stop the count. Stop the freaking count. Oh, my God.
I don't like this, everyone. Taco Bell won by a vote of 6-5. This is bad. I don't like this.
Oh, you're so wrong. That's crazy.
Actually, right down the street from me, there are Del Taco and Taco Bell across the street from each other.
Why? Why is that a thing?
I don't know. All right. This chat has devolved. Anything else, by the way, that we want to talk about?
Kenobi.
We discussed it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
You're behind.
Yeah, I'm very behind. But it's okay. I'll catch up. I'm alone right now. I'm house sitting, so gonna have to find something to do.
If anyone sees Felix on Twitter just randomly tweeting some weird stuff, or anyone on the Patreon sees him in Discord like today just going off, you can tell it's because he's bored and has nothing else to do.
Look, just because you're wrong about the Gibson thing,
Felix extended our Patreon episode yesterday by a good 15 to 20 minutes because he
20 minutes?
He wanted to just keep talking so he could add something to do.
I'm alone. I'm alone right now. It's not great. Well, I have a cat. I have a cat with me.
Oh, B. Doddle has said, when do we think that the Ducks will start their off season?
Post Stanley Cup final.
It could be between, but sure. And Pushhead 2 said over under 41 games before Aikens gets canned. Oh, we never talked about this. Do they go back on their word?
No.
Bruce Cassidy is available.
No, I don't think you can do that and be taken seriously.
Jay Woodcroft might be available.
Oh, I'm getting some cat complaints here.
There you go. Oh, we also did not talk about the Ducks' newest signee. And
who?
The Ducks signed a Slovak player.
Oh, that's...
To be honest, I kind of forgot about it because of how much stuff had happened today with Gibson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have forgotten, including myself.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Lalonde. I mean, he looked interesting from what I saw, and the scouting report on him looked interesting. He put up some decent numbers. But
wait, is that his name?
I think. No, that can't be his name. Wait, what?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's Pavel Regenda.
Yep, I don't know who Derek. What was?
Wow,
Dalton
you just
Keys,
got.
Dalton Keys.
You just got
what were you doing to me? What were you doing to me?
You just got caught. Oh my God, going out strong.
Yeah, sometimes I put trust in people.
Yeah, Derek Lalonde is that that's the guy whose wife died, or his wife is sick, or something.
That's the coach in Tampa that is potentially going to be hired by Detroit. That's who that is.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking about something else then.
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of complaints here from the cat.
You are
probably.
The cat hates Doritos Locos Tacos.
Yeah, I wonder what side she would fall on. I don't know.
Definitely a Del Taco side.
She sticks to beef sticks and the like liver concoction that they put in cans.
Gross.
So no, liver is a superfood.
Are you gonna turn into Liver King?
I do eat liver pretty consistently.
Wow,
so maybe it's one of my favorite foods. It's actually chicken liver is one of my favorite foods.
Felix is going to become the next Liver King. You heard it here first. For anyone that doesn't know who Liver King is, look him up. There's no way he's natural.
Oh no, but his diet looks like fun.
No, what?
Raw liver. Well, it's the other stuff, like all the crazy like meats and like he has like a chef. He has a chef that cooks him dinner every day. It's pretty cool.
Ugh. Felix, do you like Whataburger?
Chicken liver is a top tier food.
Do you like Whataburger?
I've never tried it, so I can't say.
Okay.
That is my new thing, Jake. I don't judge until I've tried.
Wow. Yeah, it kind of. I was taken aback there slightly because, that's interesting. Oh, by the way, you never actually answered the over under 41 games before Aikens get canned.
Oh, I don't think he's gonna get canned.
Okay.
I think the team's gonna be better.
Okay.
And he's not going to get canned.
Okay.
Unless he royally screws it up.
Okay.
Supposedly Whataburger's not good, though.
Yep.
Is what we're being told.
Yep. I don't know.
There is just a rancor here.
I think it's time. Wow, great reference. I think it's time for you to wrap this up.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. We've made it this far. If you enjoyed what you heard, if you enjoy our show, there's a few different ways to support us. The number one way is by heading on over to our Patreon page, where you can support us monthly. For $1 a month, you can join our patrons-only Discord server, which is so much fun. It's honestly its own little community of diehard Ducks fans where we talk hockey, we talk Ducks, breaking news, trades, rumors, all of it. And there's also channels for different topics as well. Food, there's a specific Ducks prospects channel. There's the general chat where you can talk about anything you want. It's just a super wholesome place, and I really, really enjoy the fact that it's become what it has. That's for $1 a month. For $5 a month, you still get access to that, but you also get access to 2 bonus episodes. And so yesterday, Jake and I did what I think is our best playoff preview yet. We did a full preview of the Stanley Cup Final. So go check that out before the action starts this week. You can see our picks. And then you can also be a top tier supporter at $15 a month. No added perks there, but you're just really helping us out quite a bit there. That's all at patreon.com/crashthepond. You don't have to pledge us any monthly amount, though, to still support us. You can head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and a review. Just search Crash the Pond, leave us a rating, and if you have a little bit more time, leave us a review. We love to hear from you guys. We love to get the inside jokes. Those are always the best. I think we did read. Were we doing a podcast? Last time there was a review?
I don't think we've read it yet.
No, we didn't. Oh my God. Okay.
Because that happened, I think,
this is Memorial Day.
When we hung out on Memorial Day.
Okay, so this is a review from David131, and the title of the review, I mean, it's a true classic. Stingray. 5-star review. I've been listening to Jake and Felix now for a couple of years and definitely feel they're the best Anaheim Ducks podcast. Thank you. It does go off the rails often, but in a ridiculously funny kind of way. Note the title of the review. Oh, yeah, I definitely noted it, and I can still feel it as I curl my toe every now and again. I do like the in-depth stats as well, though, and their knowledge. I live in Huntington Beach. Is that North or South County?
It's North.
Well,
North.
First off, David, thank you very much. That is a very fun review. I feel like that's exactly what we're after.
Yeah, exactly.
We're trying to inform you and entertain you, and there will be some days where that ratio may be skewed different ways. Some days it might be 90-10 entertainment, especially in the lean months of summer where there isn't as much news. But to your question, though, I would have to go with South.
Wait.
I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Totally. It has to be North. Like there's no other possible answer. It's definitely North County.
Yeah, it's definitely North County. Yeah. I explained, I came up with some additional information on the North-South County debate on the Patreon episode, so tune in there to hear it.
Yeah. Yep. So you can check us out there, and as you can see, leaving us a review, we really appreciate that. But also, it's just cool to hear from you guys. You can also find us on Spotify. You can leave us a rating there. Subscribe to us there. Wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on YouTube, youtube.com/crashthepond. You can get the video version of the show. You can see all the craziness. You can see Jake's moving boxes in his background. By the way, Jake, this is your first podcast in your new place.
Yeah, I even got a stand for my camera, so it wouldn't be in an awful location like it was yesterday. So
yeah.
That's good.
We should celebrate. This is your first podcast as a homeowner.
Yes.
In this economy.
It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, but everyone give Jake a little congrats there on
By the
Twitter.
way,
we'll get to that.
Really quick, for Dalton Keys, we're not go to the Patreon for our full-blown analysis, but who's your cup final winner?
I have Avalanche in 7.
I have Avalanche in 6.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be really tight and that Tampa Bay is really good, but Colorado's is better. Okay. And if you want to support us as well, check out our website, crashthepond.com. You can also go to our shop and actually get some merch. So crashthepond.com/shop. You can get t-shirts, hoodies. You can also get some mugs, some stickers, all with our awesome logo. We've got them in eggplant and jade and the orange and black. So whatever side of that debate you land on, we've got you covered. We're also on Twitter at crashthepond and on Facebook. Jake is on Twitter at reindeergames91. He's almost at 2,000 followers.
Oh yeah,
I saw that today.
I noticed that.
Let's get him to 2K.
I almost put out the obligatory tweet of, "Oh, I'm almost at 2,000. Please help me get there." And I was like, "Nah,
you don't want to do that.
Nah.
You don't want to do that. You want to get there organically."
Yep.
So help him. I mean, this is not really organic, me bumping it, but whatever. And I'm also on Twitter at Felix_Sicard. That is going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll talk to you in a week from now. Have a good one.
Bye.